nasty weather, not very pleasant. Country's not built for it because we don't normally have that sort of temperatures in the same way we're not really built for many minus temperatures either. What's the big deal? You tell us why we should care.
Well, I mean, the it's literally still on fire today. There are fires burning all over the place.
The country is still on fire today.
I mean, it is. That's just
famously, there were never fires until this week. We've never had a fire before.
We've had a lot more fires. I mean, I just heard your colleague say, as we are at 30 degrees, so 40 degrees. I mean, as if these things are the same thing. I think one thing that's probably important for listeners and viewers to understand, I think, which is not well understood about the way climate change progresses over time, is that because of thermal inertia in the system, it takes a very long time for today's level of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Yes, there we are. The country's on fire. Thanks. That's a very apposite graphic. So it takes about 30 years for the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere to feed through into temperature rise and impact.
You think it does. You don't know that.
No. I mean, no. We do know that.
Do you
it's
know
just
that?
Science. You always do this, Julia. Listen,
no, I'm telling you. How do you know that?
Because this is just physics. You know what basically the way greenhouse gases work is they act as a blanket insulating the planet, and so we capture more of the sun's heat and release less of it. And because of thermal inertia, which is just, it takes a long time for heat to build up, it means that today, yesterday, the heat wave we've just had over the last couple of days, this climate that we have today is the climate that was determined by the atmospheric concentration of greenhouse gases about 30 years ago.
Right. So this is now the new normal then, because presumably it's got worse since then, because we've had massive industrialization of many countries, like China and India and others.
Emissions have risen. Emissions have risen substantially.
So it's going to get worse and worse. So because, look, you and I both know that we did have that rather difficult pause, didn't we, for quite a long time? And then we said all the heat had gone into the oceans. That was the solution. We've come up with a solution for that. Okay. Climate, climate...
That's literally thermal inertia right there,
okay.
So
the climate is changing. No one's denying climate change. Climate's change, we know that. We did move to climate change instead of global warming at one point. When it stopped, we didn't see global warming. We meant then climate change. So every time we see a fire, or there is a tornado, or there is a drought, or there is a hurricane, that is now blamed on global warming, even though a lot of these things, these extreme weather events, they're actually not increasing at all, are they? Which surely they should be.
No, that's not right, Julia. Nearly all of them are increasing.
No, they aren't. No, that's no. That's a really...
Which extreme weather events are becoming less frequent?
I mean, the cyclones. If you actually look at global numbers of cyclones, tornadoes, things we see like tornadoes in the States, they're actually going down, not going up. There are the fires, the wildfires. We just focus on these things now. Everyone's got an iPhone. You've got helicopters. We do 24-hour rolling news, and we focus on these things. But it's as if there's never been a wildfire before in Europe, or we've never had houses on fire in hot or cold weather in the UK.
There have never been 40-degree temperatures in the UK.
Well, no, not since records began.
No, not since records began. As far as we know, not since human beings existed, right? There may have been...
We lived in the ice. There was an ice age for many, many years. We were covered in ice for a large history of the planet.
We were, and actually the human population on the planet was much, much smaller at that time because it was less conducive to organised human civilization.
Mainly because we hadn't had the Industrial Revolution, which enabled people to actually stay alive, which has been quite a useful thing.
I mean, listen, I'm just going to return to that point. Just bear this in mind, right? The summer that we're having now, this week, it's been the hottest summer of any of our lives. It's been the hottest summer in the UK of your life. It's been the hottest summer of my life, right? But just to get this in perspective, it's quite likely it could be the coldest summer of the rest of our lives. And that is the trajectory that we are on. And
if that is the case, is the solution to run around going, we're all going to die, we're all on fire? Or is the solution to let's invest in better air conditioning? Let's change, how our railways are put in so we can cope with higher temperatures like other countries do. Isn't this just simply problem solving?
Yes, it is problem solving, but one of the problems we need to solve is something that you're not keen on, which is that you've gone straight to air conditioning, right? What we need to do is invest in renewables. We need to get off fossil fuels and stop making the problem worse. That's the number one thing that we need
Except
to do.
the wind wasn't blowing much yesterday. We would have relied on solar power, but as we know, there are lots of issues in terms of I think even the most sensible scientists realise now that we're going to be still relying on fossil fuels for quite a long time before we get the renewables. All in favour of the renewables when we have the battery power to maintain them for all 24/7, 365. Leo Murray, we're going to get you on another time. We've got a bit longer. Really good to talk to you, but he thinks we need to act right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts.